Okay, so we have the curve developed. Now we need to extrude it. I'm going to create a circle. That's the shape of the extrusion. So it's like a pipe that moves all the way around and it's like connected. So I'm going to create a NURBS. Now here's the thing. If you want to find a circle, you go to the Create panel and you go to the NURBS primitives, and that's the circle. So you create a circle, and um, so here's the circle, and that would be the shape of the pipe. But the problem is that this is way too big, so we need to like scale it down a lot so we can get it to the point that it's smaller. Maybe that's fine. So the circle doesn't need to. You can just leave it here on the ground. It doesn't need to go on the curve. So the way that works, you select the circle, you shift select. First you select the shape, then you select the path, and then you go to surfaces, extrude. Now, I'm not going to extrude right now. I'm just going to go and select the extrusion. So we have a lot of options here. If I reset it, it's usually like that. So we want to click all of these, and then we don't want a NURBS object, we want a poly object. We want quads, that means four-sided polygons, not triangles, quads. And we need a general tessellation method. This is a standard thing. So that's the video, I'm recording it, so you guys can always go and refer to that, those options. Now number U and V, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to press apply. And what happens is that I get a very disturbing shape that doesn't look like good at all. Okay, don't worry about that. Close the window, and now you go to the channel box here. Let's move the layers down here for a second. And this is the command that I run. It's called NURBS tessellate. If you go and click on the NURBS tessellate, I'm going to start adding U, maybe like 10, and V. So now I'm going to add, let's say 40. This doesn't look that good here. What happens is it's not good. So the problem is I'm gonna go back some steps. Why is it not that even? We can actually look at the curve and say this is really not working. So let's delete that. So let's look at the curve. Why did that happen? So here's the thing. When we have a curve and we constructed the curve, notice that we have more points here, less points there, more points here, less. So this uneven situation creates a problem with the creation of the mesh. So what we need to do is like select this curve and evaluate it, see what we can do to change its topology. So if I press Ctrl A, notice that this curve is consisting of 22 spans. Those are like it's the number of edges in between the points. So those are the spans of the curve. We need to do this. We need to go to the curves and since we're done with the curve, we need to go and say, where is that now? It's rebuild the curve. So I'm going to go to the settings. Rebuilding the curve means that it's going to make the points again, retain the shape of the curve, but also make them more even. So I'm going to say I had 22 spans. I'm going to increase it to like 30. Nothing really changed. Well, we got some problems, some issues that are like slightly. So if that happens here, maybe on the straight lines, just go to the right view and see what is happening. So we get a little bit of, we need to kind of like just fix that. Sometimes I do this and I don't get a very good rebuild. So I need to fix it. Sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it just needs a little bit of fixing. But that will help a lot with the extrusion. So you just need to straighten some parts. And these here. Now what happened is we have like a more evenly uh, shaped curve. Go here, I'll go here, and then see. So this looks fine with a little bit of fixing. Let's go to the top view, just evaluate. So we need that too. Let's press 4. And this is a little off. I'm just gonna make it more round here. I guess you guys are gonna hate me at the end of this uh, day because this is like very tedious. This is the only tedious technique that I'm gonna show. We're gonna get into more, you know, with less of that kind of design problem in a minute. So let's go back to right. Moving things on the top and the view always. Okay, so I'm right. This is all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same extrusion. Select the circle, select the curve, go to the surfaces, extrude, and again, I'm going to go to my channel box, to my NURBS tessellate, and add more. 10 on the view, and let's see, 30. So I still get a problem here. I can actually increase this to 40, like to just reduce that problem. And also, I see that the shape is a little bit too big. So let's look at that. So the pipe is a little bit too, you know, it's a lot of thickness. So I'm going to select this guy and scale it. If I scale this, notice that that updates my shape. And also notice that this is like the color turned black here because it's like inside out. The surface is inside out. So you need to go to normals and reverse the normals. So if you reverse them, it's gonna snap out. So we're having a little bit of an issue down here. We need a little bit more information. So what happens is you have to go and manually add a couple of edge loops. So I would go ahead and insert an edge loop over here, and one over here, and one over here. Now, it's like that. Scale it a little bit. And just shape it a little bit here. So that way it's better. So we're done with that piece. I'm going to go ahead and let's go to the top view. And now I'm going to mirror that. So I'm going to have to go select it, and I'm going to mirror this geometry on the other side. So this is, I'm going to modify center the pivot point. So here's my geometry, and it looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and mirror it. Now the mirroring tool is under the mesh, and it says mirror geometry. I'm going to open the options. So I'm going to select it and say, okay, we want to mirror this geometry. So the way we want to do it is we want to mirror it on the X, but the x is like going at this point. It's going towards the right. We want it on the other direction. So we say you want to mirror the geometry, and we want to go against the opposite of x. So minus x. Merge with the original and merge the vertices. Apply. So now we have this mirrored geometry. The rest is just cylinders that we have to shape that connect to the pipe. So basically the difficult parts are done. I'm going to stop the video here.